Hi everyone. For Mixed Media Morsels dessert number 5, we're going to alter some packaging tags and clothing tags, all kind of product tags. These are usually really good and sturdy. And as you can see from this box, I've been, collecting a bunch of different tags to alter. And it's just a good way to use something, make something fun out of something that would typically get thrown in the trash. So what I'm going to do today is just show you a couple of different ways that it's fun to use these kind of tags. I typically will take out a few and gesso them and get them ready for in case I want to glue down tissue paper or use washi tape or something that's going to show through. Sometimes you want to get rid of a lot of the writing and whatever is on your tag. Sometimes there's really cool tags, that, like this one. This was on something that my husband bought. I don't remember what it was now, but it's just got a cool little image on it already, So I would even keep this to use like for ephemera, like in a junk journal, because it's just cool on its own. But if you don't want to keep what's on the tag, you can gesso them. I've done the front and backs of some of these, and then some I've only done the front side. And use those in case you'd like to kind of disguise what the tag actually was. But it's so cool to be able to use these, to me, just to replace, using cardboard or cardstock or thick scrapbook papers. Just use stuff that you get for free, you know what I mean? So I'm going to set these aside for a minute, and I'm going to take this little, this is just a little tag that came off of, I believe it was a Christmas item that I purchased one Christmas. I don't even know how long ago it was, because I've been saving those for a while now. But one thing that I like to do, and I think I've shown this in a video before, I don't think I actually did it on camera, but I showed and told what I had done. But I just take the washi tape like we talked about, and I'm going to whip this one up real quick, and I just put it on and wrap it around to the back, and I do that several times, enough to cover the cover the tag. Okay, so this particular tape is one of those plasticky washi tapes, and so it's kind of a good one to use for something like this, because sometimes you really are looking for a paper type washi that you might be using in an art journal or something like that. So this one being plasticky, it's just a good way to use the plasticky one. Now I'm going to scoot past some of this, and because I want to get some of this aqua color in here. I don't want the same pattern to be repeated everywhere. So I think I'll kind of do it off to the side just a little bit. There we go. And this will be trimmed off at the bottom. So I'm going to fold this in here. And then we'll bring this over. I think I'm going to be able to cut it right about there. Okay. All right, so it doesn't really matter if you see the joins at the back, that's not a big deal. To me, that's not a big deal, because it'll be the back after all. And then this one, I'm going to move the pattern. I think I'll turn it over the other way so that it just looks a little different. Okay, and I'll just put that one. Wait, yeah, I guess that'll be okay. I can fold it over the back. Okay, so I want to get it lined up right so we don't see any white there. There we go. Okay, so it's short on this side, but I'll come around the back and cover up that part there. Okay, so we're going to cut it here. Well, if I can hold on to it. There we go. Okay. All right, so now it's going all the way around, and all I need to do is cut across the top and the bottom where there was a little bit of hangover there, or overhang. Okay. And then I'll do that on this end as well. All right, now there's a little hole here someplace. I gotta find it. There it is. All right, I'm gonna use a punch to put that hole back in place so it can run a little thread through there. I need to mark it because it's hard to see. You can see it right here. There we go. Got a little mark with the Sharpie here. And that way now when I look through the hole I can see where that mark is. There we go. Well, I know it pushed through. I saw it. There it goes. All right. Okay, let go. So we have our little tiny hole in the tag now. I'm also going to, in a minute, I'm going to run over the edges with the pit pen to color the edges. You know how we do sometimes with a marker, sometimes with an ink pad, but I'm going to use the marker this time. All right, so what I think is fun about these little tiny, especially these tiny small tags, is that you can then take one of these, you know, these foam letters, the thickers. You can use those and just simply put the initial of the person who will be receiving the gift if you're going to use this as a functional type of tag. So I think that is a fun way to use those letters, a fun way to use up your washi tape, because we know we all have tons of washi tape and we're trying to use it up so we can get new stuff. So we'll do that, and then I'll go around the edges and it will really pop with that black letter on there. Okay, I'm going to do the sides as well. And I'm sort of, you know, doing the front edge as well as the actual edge, just to add a little black along the front of the tag. Okay. Just doing the actual edge and then going right along very, very easily on the, gently I should say, just to get a small amount on the front edge. Okay, so you see how sharp that looks. This looks really neat. All right, so I'm going to set that aside to dry for a second, and we'll come back and maybe put a string or something in it in just a minute. Okay, the next one, so that's a good little functional way to use one of the clothing tags. This one was a long, slender tag that was on some clothes, and I gessoed it, and I stuck some tissue paper. I glued down some tissue paper on either side. Okay, and it's not done perfectly or anything because I'm not planning to use the entire tag this time. So I'm going to trim off the excess. And if I do decide to use the rest of the tag for another project, I'll have these little bits left over that I can finish covering the part that didn't get covered the first time. Okay, so that's the way the tag looks now. And I thought it would be fun to cut a shape out of it. And so I had made a little stamp. This is just one of the fun foam, one of the fun foam stamps. And I've got, I took an ink pen, drew a design on it, and when I attached it, this is a piece of that foam core board. I like it because it's real sturdy and it doesn't, you know, flatten out when you're stamping with it. I've got a couple that I have on corrugated cardboard and it really does smash down flat. So this gives you a little bit more bulk. But before I added the little leaf, I just put a piece of packing tape on the block and then pinched it together here so that I have a little handle to hold on to. And that makes it a lot easier. And I also cut an extra layer of the leaf shape out of the fun foam. So I took my leaf and drew it on, cut it out, and then I peeled back the backing, because this is self-adhesive foam. I peeled off the backing and I stuck it down to the fun foam again, and then cut out another leaf shape so that it's nice and thick and has, you know, has a little bit more cushioning to it. So I thought I would take this stamp and stamp this little tag. I was thinking it might be kind of hard to know exactly where my leaf is going to be. So what I'm going to do, instead of holding on to the handle there, I'm going to take it and just lay the tag on it and press down. So I'm going to get some, I think I'm going to use some green archival ink, and we'll ink up this stamp and see if we can't stamp a little green leaf onto that tissue paper background on the tag. Okay, so I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to just turn the tag over and trying to decide, do I like one side better than the other? Not really. They're both about the same, but this way I can see that I'm getting the tag right centered on the leaf. I mean on the, well, the leaf, centering the tag on the leaf on the tag, you know. It's getting centered. I can see better what I'm doing here, doing it this way. So I'm just going to press this in really good, and then when I take it off, I'm going to dry it and cut out the leaf shape. Oops, there we go. Ooh, that looks pretty cool. Extra ink got down into the swirled area. I really like that. It looks awesome. All right, well, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to just take my little book that I'm altering with paint and stuff, and just use up some of this little leaf here. There's a lot of paint in here. See if I've got a more blank page here. I'll go to this one. Just stamp a little bit of this ink off. That's neat. I think some of that dark coloring on here is possibly the ink pen that I used to draw the pattern. That might be what some of that darker color is, because it was a blue ink pen, and I can kind of see a little blue there too, so that might have been it. Okay, let's use up all of the ink in here. Right. We'll set that aside. All right, now we'll draw this up and cut it out. All right, so the tissue paper background didn't really end up mattering a whole lot, although you can see a little bit of it in the background. You can see some of that design showing through, so I think it's probably better to have something back there, and that way it doesn't necessarily look so plain and solid. It looks a little bit more textured, and you can see a little bit more dimension that way. All right, so I'm going to cut it out, and we'll edge it just like we did the other little tag. This particular tag happened to be a really thick one, so I grabbed my Tim Holtz scissors because they cut through, you know, just about anything. So we'll just cut this little this little leaf right out of here. Like I said, it's really thick. I think I'm going to just go ahead and trim this off, get that out of the way. There we go. It just looks really cute. All right, so in this case, we're going to have a cute little tag that we can like dangle off of a journal or clip to anything you want to clip it to. I think it'll be really fun. And we're just going to take this right along the edge of this thick, really thick tag. It looks really sharp. Just really makes it pop. Yep. I'm going to do the same thing and just put a tiny little bit on the edge so that it looks like it's outlined. There we go. All right, so that's what it looks like. So by covering the front and the back side of the tag, you get a little bit of design on the back of your image that you cut out also. Or if you're just using it as a regular tag, you'll have a design on the back of your tag. So I think that's kind of cool. Now I'm going to punch a hole in the end of the leaf just so that we can have a place to tie a string, so we can dangle it or tie it onto a, I mean, this could be a functional little gift tag also. Here we go. And I'm going to get an eyelet real quick. Okay, I got a dark green colored eyelet to put in here because it's kind of looks cool with the dark colors in the leaf. All right, so I'm just going to set that, and then I'm going to put an eyelet on the other one as well. Here we go. Okay, and then this one, I did punch a bigger hole with the crocodile so that I could put an eyelet in. And I'm going to put this little teal color to match the teal in the tag. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just going to take a little baker's twine and put it through the hole. I mean, it's such a cute little personalized tag. When you do this, it just makes it so much fun. And to think that it was something that would have gone in the trash. Plus, it's a way to use up your washi tape, you know, and use up your little letters. I just think it just gives me a good feeling, honestly, to be able to do that. I mean, look how sweet that is. That's so sweet. So now you can take this and it can be tied right onto a gift bag, and it just would look adorable. So I'm going to do the same thing with the leaf. I'm going to use this green one. And it's just such a fun way to use up your free items, you know, clothing tags, product tags. It's amazing. All right, so there's some, you know, little practical uses for the packaging tags. And then I thought of another thing after I had already thought about this, and that I was going to make some, you know, little tags like this to show you. And well, let me show you the others that I made first. I did a couple of others. Okay, this one is also packaging tags. All of these are. And it was a thinner tag. I had the pieces of that, I think, right up here somewhere. I would show you. But anyway, it wasn't especially thick. So what I did was I used a stamp. I used this stamp. Okay, and I stamped it onto 2 of the thinner tags, and then I cut them out and glued them together back to back so that I could create a thicker tag. The reason I didn't use a thick tag was because of you know, the process of cutting out around these curved edges and into the crevice here would have been really difficult to do with a thicker tag. So I just did it twice with a tag that wasn't so thick. Then I glued them together, and they weren't perfect, so I went back and, you know, trimmed it off just a little bit. And then the color on here is one of my jelly prints that I had printed onto a sticker sheet of circles, and I peeled off a couple of those circles and stuck them onto the little tag that I had made, the flower tag. Stuck one side on and trimmed it out, okay, and then stuck the other side on and trimmed it out. And then of course I did the edges in black, just like you saw me doing these, okay. Stuck a word on, outlined around it, and then I did a little black outline just on the inside edge of the flower. And I think it's just absolutely precious. I love this one. I mean, I love them all. They're fun. Every one of them are fun, but this one just really appeals to me because I love the colors in it, and it just makes a wonderful, fun little tag. I would tie that on a journal in a second. I certainly would. So, as I was saying, I put these stickers on top of the tag, and I was cutting out the excess. And as I was cutting off these little excess pieces from the circle, I decided to stick them down to a little excess piece that I had trimmed off of something. It was just a piece of one of these tags, and I used all the little excess pieces from this to stick onto this tag to make this one. Now this is just the scraps, you guys. That's nothing but the scraps, okay? And then painted it in white, a little area here so that I could put these rub-ons on here, so where it says Choose Joy. And those are rub-ons, and so the whole thing is, you know, pretty flat. And then I did a little doodle at the bottom down here. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. But yeah, I did a little doodle on that. Then I did the edges, and oh, and I also glued on a piece of used gift wrap. Y'all have seen me use this gift wrap a lot. I love this black and white paper. So I just glued this onto the back, and then I took, the surface of this is very uneven, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Maybe right there. You can see all the little edges of those paper scraps that I was sticking down. And so I thought it would be fun just to put a glossy surface. You can see that gloss. And so I thought about using my glossy accents, but I didn't want to make it really thick and dimensional. So what I did was I just put some of the glossy accents on the tag and just wiped over it with my finger just to coat the surface of it. And it looks great. I love how it looks. And I did the same thing to the back side where I put on the gift wrap bit. So trying to catch the light so you can see how glossy it is. I caught it just a second ago accidentally, I think. And now I can't catch it at all. Well, there it goes. There it is. So you can see how shiny that is. There we go. And it's just great. Just put it on the tag or whatever you're using, and just swiped it from the center going outward, and just swiped it out and left it to dry. So I love that one too. Then I had a couple of tags that I had stamped. Okay, this little stamp came in a set, and I don't remember who makes it, but it's just a regular little rubber cling stamp. And I had stamped some of these a while back onto some book paper. And I used colored inks. I used my archival inks. And after I had stamped it onto the book text, I stamped it with a flourish stamp that I have. And I thought it looked really sweet. So I glued it down onto a piece of chipboard and cut it out. So the chipboard looked like this. And I had just glued the book text piece onto the chipboard, and I cut it out. So that's what that looks like. And it's got a little bit of some glossy Mod Podge on it. And then I just stuck the little flowers down there as an accent, and put the little string in. And I think that is so sweet, just precious. and that could be dangled or hung on anything also. And here's another one like that one, only it was done in teal. Okay, and it's got the flourish stamped on it also, and then I added some little flowers to the front and the little three-dimensional bird. It's kind of like one of those buttons, little plastic buttons, but it wasn't. It was just a flat back item with a sticker on the back. So I took the sticker off and just glued it on with some E6000. But I just think it's just precious. It's just so sweet. And I did outline the edge again, just like I had done on the red one. And I just love it. It made it sturdy. These two were not used. I did not use tags, clothing or product tags. I actually used chipboard. But they were a while back that I had done this. But they were so cute. I wanted to show you the idea, behind it. And the reason I wanted to show you these little houses is because I decided I wanted to take some of these clothing and product tags and make some little houses out of the tags. So I made this little tiny one here. Okay, and this is using tags. Isn't that sweet? And it's just, I left this one plain on the back, but I just think that's adorable. And I put the twine on, and then I was in house making mode. I thought, this is so fun. Just like when we did our little morsel houses back, way back, in 2016. And we did our little houses for our morsel. I think it was number 8. And I thoroughly enjoyed doing this. And so I was like, you know what? I want to do more little houses out of these nice sturdy little tags. I think that will be so much fun. So I made a couple of tags, made little houses, and they're nice and sturdy, made out of the clothing tags. And this one, I wanted to show you, it was this tag. I don't know what it came off of. But it was a product, some kind of product. And I thought, what I did was I glued jelly prints onto the front surface to make the front of the house. And I decided to glue my pieces onto the back of this tag so that when I got finished, and this was now the front, the back of my tag would be decorated with the words and the script that were on this product tag. So I thought that was a fun way to have that finished off on the back, kind of like this, only I didn't have to do it. This one I put the tissue paper on. This one I just used the decorated piece of the tag. So I was gluing all of the things I glued down onto the back of the actual product tag. So don't forget, that's a good way to do something like that. I was looking to see if I had another tag with a decoration on it. I don't remember if I have any in here. Here we go. Here's one. Actually, this one's decorated on both sides, so this one wouldn't matter. But you could use, the back side of your product packaging. Like, for instance, this one has some really pretty design on there from the Tim Holtz products, right? So you could use that for the back of your tag, and you could, if you were gluing down some jelly prints or painted papers, you could glue it on the side that has all the words and the code and everything. You could just glue it over that. Then when you cut out your tag, you turn it over and you've got this pretty little design on the back. So it's a good way to use your tags and make the most use out of the ones that have a really cute design on them. So there was this little house, and then there was this little house. And this one, I actually had covered both sides in different papers. The roof I had covered in the same paper. And then I doodled on it and drew my little doors on some more painted papers. And these can be glued flat, like into a journal, on a journal page, which I think would be really sweet. And I made a third one, and the more I looked at it, the more I felt like it looked like, instead of a house per se, it looked like a store or a shop or something like that, right? So I decided it was going to be a shop. I made it into an art store, and I called it Artitude. That was a word that I had found in a magazine a while back, and I loved the word, and I didn't know what I would ever use it for, but when I saw it in the box earlier, I thought, oh, I have to name my little art shop Artitude. So this again is a jelly print on the front with some little jelly print or painted paper windows from another, piece of paper. This is a jelly printed door, and there's a teeny tiny little open sign hanging on the door. So, and that was fun. That was just cut from magazine or book text, I think, the word open, because it was so tiny. I had to find something really little. And this one I wanted to show you is just the back of that tag. That's what that tag looked like to start with. And then I had just added an additional piece on for the roof, which kind of ended up looking more like a little awning or something. And so that's what I think made me think it looked a little bit more like a shop. I don't know. But I thought, the three of those would be adorable on an art journal page or on a canvas or something. So I may do something like that with those. And this one was really tiny, so I decided to go ahead and tie a piece of twine onto that one so that it could be, used to hang on to something. But anyway, guys, that is our little dessert for today. I would love to see what you guys can come up with and create with some product packaging, the tags, clothing tags, product tags. Like some of these things are like, art products. Some of these things are just like this is an office supply. It was a paper tray. Here's another paper tray. Here's another craft tag. This, like I said, was clothing. Obviously this is clothing. I mean, there's all kinds of little, this was a little storage basket of, to store items. That's probably something I have in here. And, I mean, there's just all kinds of things. Here's another making memories, looks like a little tag. And some of them are actually already die cut into cool little shapes for you too. So you can gesso those. I think I had something similar to that gessoed in here, the bigger one. And they're just fun to use. So take advantage of these free items that you're receiving on things you're buying anyway, and make something fun with them. And not only will you have a good time and enjoy making, creating these kind of fun things, but you'll be, saving the environment. You'll be using up some of the stuff that's going to go in a landfill. And to me, it just makes me feel good to use up something that would have gone in the trash. And you know how I've always used up extra paint and all that too. So I like using up all that stuff and creating something with it that normally would not get created, and it would just go in the trash and it would be gone forever, and like I said, be filling up the landfill or something. So it's a really good feeling to be able to create something usable and or something that's wonderful to use in your art journal that you don't have to spend a lot of money on. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys create, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.